Shakahola forest, and the process of exhumation was temporarily stopped because of weather, because the experts advised us that when it is raining, that process cannot continue. It would interfere with the evidence as well as the samples that are being retrieved from the graves. Therefore, I want to confirm that that exercise of exhumation will continue as soon as the weather improves. We really hope that that happens as soon as possible. But in the meantime, the site is secure and is under the control of the General Service Unit because it's a site of crime, it's a scene of crime. As you're aware, the general area is also a gazetted area. It's a disturbed area under the Public Order Act, read together with the National Police Service Act of 2011. Therefore, the measures that we announced are still in place, namely that the entire 800 acres of Shakahola forest are a disturbed area, and we have also extended those orders to the entire Chakama Ranch, 50,000 acres in total, because we believe some of the suspects who were involved in this massacre of our people could be holed up in the area beyond the 800 acres within the ranch. We have made significant progress. We have traced quite a number of suspects, and some of the suspects are still holed up within the ranch and within the forest. But we are zeroing in on them. And as you are aware, we have not called off the search and rescue operation. The search and rescue operation continues even as we speak. We have now employed technology in form of unmanned vehicles, that is drones, which we are using to help us track any people that could be holed up in the forest. The rains notwithstanding, we are making some good progress. As late as yesterday, we were able to rescue one person. And this morning, we expect possibly to be able to make progress along the lines of rescue. That exercise is ongoing. In another 2 days, we will apply on a daily basis aircrafts. We are just waiting for a few operational issues to be finalized before we also apply aircraft to be able to comb the entire Chakama Ranch and the Shakahola forest to find whether we can trace not only the people who are holed up there, but also be able to locate if there are any suspected criminals within the ranch. In a nutshell, the area remains an active security operation zone. It is out of bounds for all persons except with the permission of the operation commander and the team leader of the operation, who is the regional commissioner for Coast, Rhoda Onyancha. The operation commander going forward is going to be Senior Assistant Inspector General of Police, Peter Ndungu, who will support what our regional police commander has been doing here. A wonderful job. Mr. Kimani is here with me, and he has been doing a good job, but we've beefed up that command so that we can support the operation. The investigations also continue. And as you're aware, the director of the homicide unit, Mr. Martin Nyoguto, who is here with me on my right, has been leading that process. And because of the complexity and the magnitude of the tragedy, the government has decided to upscale and support him because he cannot be everywhere all the time. And now he'll be assisted in terms of general command of the investigations by Assistant Inspector General of Police, Abdallah Komesha, who is the Director of Investigations at DCI. So that is the team that is working here. We have about 3 teams here in this mortuary. We have the team of pathologists who are here. We also have the team from DCI, particularly the team from the homicide unit and the forensics unit for purposes of DNA. And then we also have the team from the government chemist, which will deal with toxicology and other tests that require chemical analysis. So that is the team we have here. And officially the process of post-mortem examination of the bodies starts immediately. Starts today. I am advised by the team leader here that that process is expected to take roughly a week, all going well, because again it's a process which is time bound, but of course other factors could arise which could delay. But the team here assures the people of Kenya that we don't expect to take more than 1 week to be able to discharge examination of all the 110 bodies which are in this mortuary. After the rains subside, of course, as I've said, the exhumation will proceed, and once again, when we have a critical mass of bodies, again another season of autopsy will proceed. I now want to give further information for purposes of the members of the public that the public information tracing and support centers is still active at the site, at the entrance of Shakahola Forest, at where the command center still is also situated. And any member of the public who has a missing person should contact that center, and there is a line which has been provided. The regional commissioner here, who is the overall team leader, will provide that number. I also want to clarify, for purposes of public information, that until now we have 461 cases of reported missing persons. We are not sure that all of them are associated with the Mackenzie massacre. We, however, are processing those reports, and we will be giving updates on our findings in due course. Thirdly, I would like to communicate to the public that the overall team leader of this exercise, namely the regional commissioner for the Coast region, will continue giving daily updates on the search and rescue operation at 3 p.m. as she has been doing before. However, with regard to this very particular exercise, where we are at the moment of the post-mortem, the communication will be issued every day at 5 p.m. by the team leader of this exercise, who is the chief government pathologist, Dr. Johansen Oduor, who is on my left. So every day at 5 o'clock, there will be official update to the members of the public of what has been achieved at the end of the day. And the person who is in the overall charge of that process is the chief government pathologist, Dr. Johansen Oduor. Therefore, every day at 5 o'clock, from here, we'll be able to update the public, and every day at 3 p.m. from the command center and the tracing center at Shakahola. So that is the public information program that we wanted to share with the members of the press and members of the public. Allow me to say 2 other things before I end my statements. One is that, as I promised when I was here 3 days ago, the government has nothing to hide regarding what has happened to our people. We have lost a huge number of innocent Kenyans, men, women, and children. And the government is committed to establish what really happened and who did what. And we have nothing to hide. We will expose every detail that we discover. In that vein, as you are aware, President William Ruto made two pronouncements on new measures yesterday when he spoke from West Pokot. Namely, that the government has decided to establish a commission of inquiry under the Commission of Inquiries Act, Cap 102 of the laws of Kenya, and the presidential instrument on the gazettement of the Commission of Inquiry has been prepared, and they have been conveyed to the President for signature, and therefore any time from now, the members of the Commission of Inquiry on the Shakahola tragedy are going to be made public. In the same vein, President William Ruto announced yesterday that other than the Commission of Inquiry, the government has decided to establish a multi-sectoral, multi-agency task force appointed by the President to look at how we can avoid the kind of event that has occurred here in Shakahola. Therefore, in the course of the week, the President will be announcing again members of a presidential task force to deal with generally how we govern religious activities in our country, how we make sure that we do not infringe on the sacred right to the freedom of worship, opinion, and belief, but at the same time, we don't allow criminals to misuse that sacred right in the Constitution to hurt people, to kill people, to torture people, and to starve them to death. For that reason, those are the new measures that, as announced by the President, will be implemented in the course of the week. I also want to bring to the public information, to bring this information to the public, that we have transferred all public officers within the security sector who were in office when the crimes in Shakahola were taking place, with the exception of only those officers who reported after the event had taken place. And therefore, no agency is spared. The National Government Administration officers from the lowest level that can be transferred all the way to the county commissioner. The same with the police, from station level all the way to the county commander. The same with the criminal investigations department. The same with the National Intelligence Service. The same with every other department that is relevant to security. We are not declaring any public official culpable, but I want to say that there must be accountability. Part of the terms of reference of the Commission of Inquiry, other than establishing the circumstances under which these offenses took place, the Commission of Inquiry will also investigate, inquire, and make recommendations on action that must be taken against any public officer whose action, inaction, failure, or outright negligence could have caused the deaths that have occurred on our people. So we are moving forward step by step, methodically, carefully, and lawfully to make sure that we get to the bottom of this matter. I know the sentiments and the feelings within the public is the emotions are very high, but in a situation like this, it's good for us to sober up and do things step by step. And therefore, those who are asking whether public officials will be accountable should wait until there is a process of accountability as I've already outlined in the coming days. Once again, the government of Kenya will do everything possible to find out who, why, and how a large number of our people met their death in such a cruel and inhumane manner. And any person along the path of accountability will have a date with destiny. I want to, again, on behalf of government, send my sympathies again to the families that are affected, those that may have lost their loved ones, and promise Kenya that there is nothing of this nature that will ever happen in our country again. The kind of measures we're going to put in place will ensure that never again will we have this kind of horrendous crimes on the soil of our country. We are also contemplating on what to do eventually with that scene of crime. And again, at the right time, we will be announcing. Once the process of exhumation, search and rescue is complete, we'll be announcing what governments will do with regard to making sure that place remains a memorial for the country, to ensure that we always remember that this tragedy visited us. So I don't want to say beyond that. I wish you all the best. I thank you once more, members of the press. You have braved the rains and the mud and the sun to make sure that Kenyans are informed of what is happening. We thank you and we count you as partners to the establishment of the truth, critical partners to assisting the country come to terms with the truth and settle accounts. We also want to thank the human rights and humanitarian organizations that continue to give us immense support. The Kenya Red Cross, human rights organizations, several of them, about 4 or 5, Muhuri and the other NGOs that are here. You're doing a good job, Aki Africa, and all the other groups that I have mentioned. And even those that I have not mentioned, we are taking stock on who is doing what, and we will publicly recognize what you are doing as members of the civil society. I want to end there and wish you all the best. To our teams of professionals, Dr. Joasen Oduor, my brother Director Nyuguto, and all the other teams here from the government departments. This is a responsibility like no other. The country is waiting to know the truth. We want to know what happened. And keep us updated. And when you are through with the process, we'll come back here again to sign off and to give a final accountability statement. I thank you and wish you a good day. Asante sana.
Before you close, Doc.
Maybe before I close, oh yeah, I'm just reminded the bodies are 109, but I thought there was maybe there's a discrepancy somewhere. There is no, okay, 109 by the time we close.
Yeah.
109.
Yes.
Thanks for that clarification. And then Dr. Joasen Oduor, maybe you can say something so that we close.
Thank you very much, Waziri. Bwana Waziri has said everything that we needed to say, but mine is just technical. We are going to be doing the autopsies in teams, and once we finish, we'll do the briefing as have been announced, so that now we can be able to tell you what is going on and what we are going to do next. That is all.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a good day. Asante sana. Yes, Brenda. Yes, Brenda. Yes. I think the second question on when the families can be able to access information is a technical issue. Dr. Oduor will answer that. But the first one I will answer, because you asked whether if the theory of organ harvesting is proved, whether that is part of the scope of the investigation. Definitely. If any of our people have their organs missing, we'll tell the world. There is nothing we are hiding. That is the truth. And we'll have to find out why those organs are missing, who took them and where. And therefore, this is a long and protracted process of accountability. I'm just praying for patience as we go step by step. But yes, Brenda, we will tell the world if any of the bodies have organs of their bodies missing. Thank you, Dr. Odro. Yes. Yes. That's an administrative measure, and again, that it's an administrative measure to ensure that nobody who was in office up to until the crimes were committed is there. So I don't have a definite date, but we have instructed all the agencies to comply, and therefore I'll be asking for a report on where we are. But the report I have as of this morning is that action has been taken on anybody. And also up the ladder, in case we find any other person who ought to have taken some action and has not taken action, we'll also ask them to step aside, not because we are judging them as guilty, but because we want the perception of fairness and to give public confidence that government will not try, or none of us will try to perhaps obstruct justice. That's where we are. Dr. Odro?
Okay, as for the DNA issue, there's a process which is running concurrently. There's a Red Cross who established some tracing center where once we get to know the relatives who have reported the missing, they're going to submit their DNA to the government chemist, so that now when you take samples from the deceased, this will be matched, so that now we can know who belonged to who. So the process is ongoing concurrently. Yes.
But it will take time, doctor, isn't it?
Yes, it will take time. Yes,
it's good to tell the public the truth.
It will take time because
a bit of
DNA
time.
is not a process whereby you just match today and tomorrow you're going to say, voila, this is the test. It's a process. So it might not take 1 day or 2 days. It might even take 1 month or more. Yes.
Thank you. That's good clarification. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Ashira. Naomba mtu mmoja nishikilie hapa. Nikushikie ndio utoe live. Ha? Shika live isianguke. Huyu jamaa anageuka, wakidhoma anaweza kuangukia.